Hey guys, Eric here from Top Flight Trades. Tonight I'm going to do a quick video on a chart pattern. One that I've known for a very long time, one that I love, one that I, for the most part, play all the time. It's just an incredible one. And one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much, what I like about it so much, is it's so easy to spot. Okay, and it is the ascending triangle. So maybe if you've probably, I'm sure, are aware and know what an ascending triangle is, right? If you've ever studied charts or patterns, it's one of the most common ones out there. It's nothing new or secretive or anything like that. It's just what it is. It's awesome. And this is what it looks like. If you follow, if you're bullish in the market and you follow stocks that are always climbing, then you see it all the time. Now there is a descending triangle, and that's pretty much the opposite of this. The inverse of this is where it has a flat bottom and a descending trend line, and it's bearish. But this we're looking at the ascending triangle, and of course has a horizontal resistance level there, a flat top, and then of course higher lows, which create that rising trend line for support down below. So this is what it looks like. And you'll most commonly see this if you're looking in the daily chart. You'll see this as the stock pretty much makes its climb. Pretty much can sometimes look like a flag, but I guess what I think about differently with a flag is it's slightly bearish. I mean, you're getting lower highs and lower lows for a little period before it continues on up in its bullish trend. With an ascending triangle, to me, it shows a little more strength. Probably a lot more strength actually, because it's continuing to hit that resistance level. Okay, unlike a flag. And the other thing that shows to me is the rising support line. Okay, it's kind of like someone's knocking on the door, and as they further along they go, they're knocking a little bit harder. Okay, so I really like the pattern. So let's look at a couple of, well, first let me tell you a little bit about it. It's a bullish continuation pattern. If you study chart patterns, that's what they'll tell you. It's a bullish continuation. It's not always a continuation pattern. I've seen stocks plummet, descend down for a long time, and finally form a base. And then at a base, form an ascending triangle, essentially a breakout there where they have the same thing. They hit resistance and they get higher lows. And it's at the bottom of a chart. It's really not a continuation. It's a reversal pattern almost sometimes. But I mean, like any chart pattern, you can see it all over the place, all different time frames and doing all different things. But for the most part, it's a bullish continuation pattern. Okay? The other thing is that it'll mostly form over months, weeks, and days, but you can find it intraday. I've spotted them on a 1 minute. I've spotted them on a 15 and an hour. But they are most reliable, like most charting patterns, or I would say, are most reliable and sometimes reliable over the broader time frames, like months or weeks. And I have a couple examples here that will show that. When it finally gets some action and breaks out, you definitely need volume to confirm the action as well as the price movement. And then with an ascending triangle, a target can be determined. I don't focus too much on price targets, but when I look at an ascending triangle, when I look at the base of the triangle and its axis, I can quickly, without calculating, get an idea whether it's going to be, how explosive it's going to be. And then, of course, it's statistically, I don't know the numbers on how that is, but you get the idea. Okay, I don't pull out my calculator and calculate down to the 0.25% where I think it's going to go. If I see the base is $3, well, then I know that, hey, it's probably got a good $2.50 run ahead of itself if it performs right as we expect. Okay, so this is NRF weekly. Now this chart goes back a few years. A few years ago, when I would study, when I learned about ascending triangles and I was studying, I wanted to see how reliable they were. And I had a different charting package at the time. In fact, I was using free stock charts back then. And what free stock charts would allow you to do is create different watch list, portfolio type things. And you can draw on the charts and it would save them. So what I would do was I would create different portfolios for different breakouts, different setups. And one of them was ascending triangle. So I'd spot one and I'd save it in there, and it would save the date and the time and everything I'd need, and it would save the drawings as well. Well, I go back through there 6 months later, I'd see, well, how'd they do? And I'd look, and just some of them are just absolutely explosive. Others failed, but it turned out to be a pretty reliable pattern for me. And this was one of them that I saved here. This was NRF. What's that? North Star Realty Finance. And now this is the weekly chart. Okay, so this is textbook here, right? Looks clean. You can see it goes up and hits $10. Nice round, even number for resistance. You see the wicks show the ultimate, the highs there with the wick ends, 10:30. But you see the bodies of the candles stayed pretty much there at 10. Pretty obvious there. Well, you can see it went down to, I think I have a mouse here. That's not working. It went down to 814, which was a trend line there wasn't defined there at that point yet. And then it went up to 10 again, bounced off it, came down to, I don't know, 850 or something there, that next one. And then that allowed me to draw the lower support line. I had the 2 points. I had the 814 candle there. Then I had that other doji candle there. I guess it's technically not a doji with that long tail wick on it. But anyways, I had a higher low, and I was able to draw that line there. Okay, so now I have my resistance line, my flat top, and then I got that lower ascending trend line. I can draw it in there. Well, of course, you can see it continued through there, and it played around through those moving averages. And those moving averages, by the way, are the 5-day EMA and a 13-day EMA. Anyways, we went up and hit resistance one more time. Got that nice big red candle there on the far right, and then finally it just had enough and just popped through. So again, the resistance level here on this chart on the weekly is $10. I didn't save the whole chart here, but as we look above and this broke out, it got $14, $15. Okay, so that was an awesome, incredible move on the weekly chart. So we talked about how the pattern in most patterns are most reliable, on broader, wider viewpoints, right? Okay, so this looks pretty clean, right? You can clearly see the ascending triangle here. This next one is it on the daily. Okay, well, look at that. I mean, you could almost, I still don't have a mouse here to show you, but looking at this, okay, looking at the far left there, you can see where we went up, hit 972 for a high, 994, 1030. Then we came down to our 814. Then we went back up again, 1010, back down. And we have that really tall wick over there at $9.99. Boy, that's showing that there's a $10 resistance there. And then, of course, we hit it again. But, you know, if you look at the daily, you can almost draw that resistance line as a descending slope, kind of more where it's a wedge or a symmetrical triangle. But if you look at the weekly, it's an ascending triangle, because looking back here, look at I follow the bodies, and you can see how much clearer it is. So anyways, that's it on the daily. And you can see down there in the far right, we just finally broke above 10, came back, touched it, and boom, gone like a rocket. It just coiled up and boom, gone. So, and so that's why looking at chart patterns on a weekly or monthly, a little more reliable and clearer to see. All right. Finally, I'll go through a few more other ones here, but what this was, I want to show you, this is actually one that's today. This is Bib, at least I call him Biogen. This is a weekly chart. This is one that I identified here recently. I think I drew that lower trend line there off the daily, perhaps. It looks off a little bit, but that's all right. But you can, if you stand back, you can see it, okay? What I'd realized there on the daily, no, I jumped to the weekly. I was scanning weekly charts there, just getting a different perspective on the ones I stare at all the time. Wanted a weekly perspective, and it just jumped out at me. Again, the ascending triangle is so easy to spot. Well, I can see we went up. It's hard to see. It looks like that resistance area is 350, I would guess. So we went up and hit 350, bounced down to 272. And there you can almost create a lower trend line from that first point back there to the left. Then we went up to 350 again, bounced off it again. Looks like 290. Well, either way, we have higher lows. And for the most part, we have that nice flat top. And then finally there on the far right, which is 4 weeks ago, we pierced through that. And I think Bib made the premium list back in there. I'll have to look. But anyways, on the weekly chart here, it went through there, and then it failed the next week. So this is a live chart as of today. It's January 5th, 2015. Wow. So what's this going to do? Well, I think perhaps it's going to come back down and maybe bounce off that support. Maybe it'll hold there on that 13-day moving average and then go from there. So it'll be a fun one to watch. All right, guys. Well, I could probably post quite a few more examples, but instead what I'm going to do, instead of taking much more time in the video here, come on over to Top Flight Trades if you're not there already. And then under forums, I'll have a forum in there of chart setups. So while you can, come on over and register for free. You get access to all the premium content for life. That's where the forums will be. I'm going to post this video in there as well as some other setups, and we'll keep that forum active of current stocks that are setting up with ascending triangles and that type of thing, and we can share ideas and that. So thank you very much for listening. Come over, check out topflighttrades.com, and look forward to meeting and seeing all of you. All right, thanks a lot.